Hi, everyone. So I wonder if you've heard the forecast for this weekend. It's supposed to be really hot and really humid. And you know what kind of weather I don't like? Really hot and really humid. It makes me cranky. So when I think ahead, I get a little concerned. I get a little anxious about that. And then I have to slow myself down and realize, okay, but wait, let me not forget about today because I'm so worried about what's going to be coming up on Saturday and then on Sunday and on Monday. So instead, today, I had to tell myself, okay, let's just look at today because today is really nice and cool. We're getting the rain that we really need. It is actually a lovely day in many ways. And it just makes me think of the story. I hope you know the story about Moses being out in the wilderness, and he was leading the people of Israel, and they were going away from something that they didn't want, which was slavery, and they're headed towards something that they did want, which was the freedom and the promised land. But in between, there was a lot of wilderness, and there was a lot of unknown, and there's tons of uncertainty. And so when Moses talked to God about that, God said that God would provide manna in the wilderness, bits of bread, enough bread for every single day. One day at a time, though, not for the week, not for the month, and certainly not for the years that they were going to be in the wilderness. And so there's really something for us to consider about that because I think most of us have a lot of uncertainty about the future. A lot of us have a lot of things that we're concerned about, worried about days and months and years that are coming up. And we don't know what those things will bring. And we don't know how it's going to be. And we don't know how we're going to react. It could have to do with pandemic. It could have to do with family. It could have to do with illness. There's lots of things that are on our minds these days. So instead, we are invited to pull back and just notice this day. Because if we can notice on this day a blessing that God has placed into our lives and a way that God is present in our lives, then the promises, the certainty is that same God, that same blessing will be with us tomorrow. Now tomorrow may not be as blessedly cool as today is, but I'm going to rest in the promise that God will be there, that God will provide blessing, that God will provide presence, and that will carry me through moment by moment and day by day. It's a kind of a slowing down instead of rushing into the future and worrying about what isn't yet but might be, and instead pulling back and saying, okay, today I will notice where God is. Today I will count the blessings that I have. Today I will be aware that God is with me. And I will trust that God will be with me in all the tomorrows that are to come. And that moment by moment, God will provide. So for all of us, I pray for an awareness of God and a reliance on God's promises. And remember always that God's steadfast love endures forever. Amen.